The Bronze Age, an era of warlords, chariots, and the clash of metal against metal. From the scorching deserts of Egypt to the stormy hills of Anatolia, powerful armies rose and fell, shaping the ancient world through blood and fire. Imagine stepping onto a battlefield where bronze swords clash against shields, where the air is thick with the smell of sweat and blood, and the earth trembles beneath the weight of charging chariots. These are the stories of the armies that fought and died in this brutal age, the conquerors and the conquered, the victors and the vanquished. These are the 10 most vicious armies of the Bronze Age. Out of the eastern lands, beyond the Zagros Mountains, emerged a warrior people known as the Elamites. These were not men who built grand empires, at least not in the way the Babylonians or Egyptians would. Instead, picture a people forged in the crucible of a harsh land, masters of raiding and ambush, their name whispered with fear in the marketplaces of Sumeria. The Elamites were masters of their craft, their armies as disciplined as they were fierce, capable of striking at the heart of empires. They sacked the legendary city of Ur, leaving it a smoldering ruin, a testament to their might. Even mighty Babylon, with its towering walls and well-trained soldiers, felt the sting of the Elamite spear. They were a force of nature, unpredictable and devastating, leaving their mark on the very fabric of the Bronze Age world. When you hear the name Mycenae, what comes to mind? Is it the legend of Agamemnon, the king who led the Greeks to war against Troy? Or perhaps the tales of Achilles, the swift-footed warrior whose wrath brought down empires? The Mycenaeans, those bronze-clad warriors who dominated the Aegean Sea, were more than just characters in Homer's epic poems. These were hardened soldiers, their lives forged in the crucible of constant warfare. The Mycenaeans, with their advanced shipbuilding techniques and mastery of naval warfare, were a force to be reckoned with. They swept down upon coastal settlements, their bronze swords gleaming under the Mediterranean sun, their war cries echoing across the waves. The very myths that surround them, tales of heroes and monsters, speak to the power and influence of the Mycenaean world. From the heart of Mesopotamia, a storm was brewing. The Assyrians, though their true reign of terror would come later, were already making their presence felt in the Bronze Age. These were not simply conquerors, they were empire builders, driven by a hunger for land and power that would come to define their legacy. Picture a vast, well-equipped army, their bronze armor gleaming under the Mesopotamian sun, their ranks swelling with chariots thundering across the battlefield. The Assyrians were masters of siege warfare, their armies capable of reducing even the most well-defended cities to rubble. They were innovators, constantly refining their tactics and weaponry. Their military machine a testament to their organizational skills and ruthlessness. The Assyrians were a force of nature, their name whispered with fear and respect by those who witnessed their rise to power. Now let's set sail across the wine-dark sea to the island of Crete, home to a civilization shrouded in mystery and legend, the Minoans. These weren't your typical bronze-clad warriors. These were masters of the sea, their power emanating from the waves themselves. They didn't build vast empires like the Egyptians or Babylonians, but their influence, their reach, it stretched far and wide across the Aegean. Think of them as the enigmatic force, the wild card in the deck, the one nobody truly understood but everyone feared. The Minoans possessed a naval force that ruled the waves, their ships sleek and swift, manned by sailors who knew every current, every twist and turn of the Aegean like the backs of their hands. These were the guys who made the rules of the sea, controlled the trade routes, and woe betide anyone who dared to challenge their dominance. The Minoans were the phantom raiders of their time, striking fear into the hearts of coastal settlements, then disappearing back into the mist and legend from whence they came. Babylon. The name conjures images of hanging gardens, towering ziggurats, and a civilization bathed in the golden light of ancient Mesopotamia. But beneath the surface of this cultural powerhouse lay a martial spirit, a capacity for conquest and control that would see the rise of one of the most influential empires in history. At the heart of this rise stood the Babylonian army, a force as disciplined and organized as any in the ancient world. These were the inheritors of a rich military tradition, schooled in the art of war from a young age. Imagine the clang of bronze on bronze as Babylonian soldiers armed with spears, axes and swords marched in perfect formation. Leading these warriors were kings like Hammurabi, whose name echoes through history not just for his famous law code, but also for his military prowess. Under his rule, the Babylonian army reached its zenith, crushing rivals like the Elamites and the Akkadians, forging an empire that stretched from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. Before the Babylonians, before the Assyrians, there was another power that rose from the Mesopotamian of his army. Let's shift our focus eastward now, to the lands of ancient China, where along the Yellow River, a dynasty rose to power that would shape the destiny of a civilization. The Shang dynasty, with its elaborate bronze casting, its intricate writing system, and its powerful army, stands as a testament to the ingenuity and martial prowess of early Chinese civilization. The Shang army was a force unlike any other in the ancient world. Imagine ranks of disciplined infantry, their bronze armor gleaming in the sunlight, their weapons honed to a razor's edge. These were not mere peasant levies, but professional soldiers trained in the art of war from a young age. They were supported by charioteers racing across the battlefield, their chariots pulled by swift horses, their arrows raining death from afar. They expanded their empire through a series of brutal campaigns, crushing rival states and consolidating their hold on the Yellow River Valley. The legacy of the Shang army is not just one of conquest, but also of innovation and cultural achievement. When we think of ancient Egypt, images of towering pyramids, enigmatic pharaohs, and a civilization obsessed with death and the afterlife often come to mind. But Egypt's enduring legacy was built not just on the backs of slaves and the brilliance of its architects, but also on the might of its army. For over 2,000 years, the Egyptian army was a dominant force in the ancient world, its reputation for discipline, organization, and sheer power unmatched. Imagine the scorching sands of the Sinai desert, the air thick with tension. On one side, the Egyptian army, a sea of bronze and linen, their ranks stretching as far as the eye can see. The Egyptians were masters of chariot warfare, their light, maneuverable vehicles racing across the battlefield, harassing enemy formations and disrupting their lines. Their archers, armed with powerful composite bows, rained down deadly volleys of arrows, while their infantry, armed with spears, axes and swords, engaged in brutal hand-to-hand combat. From the reign of Thutmose III to the legendary Ramses II, the Egyptian army was a force to be reckoned with. From the rugged Anatolian highlands, a region steeped in ancient history and the clash of empires, emerged a force that would change the face of warfare forever: the Hittites. These weren't just another Bronze Age kingdom, they were pioneers, innovators, the ones who ushered in the Iron Age and with it a new era of warfare. Imagine the rumble as these warriors descended from their mountainous strongholds, their iron chariots cutting through enemy ranks like a hot knife through butter. These weren't just chariots, they were mobile fortresses, each one manned by a driver, a shield bearer, and an archer, a deadly combination of speed, protection, and firepower. Their infantry, armed with iron swords and spears, were a force to be reckoned with. Their discipline and ferocity honed through years of constant warfare against rivals in Anatolia and beyond. They were organized, these Hittites, with a clear chain of command and a logistical network that allowed them to field and supply a large mobile army. Their empire, stretching across Anatolia and into Syria, was a testament to their military prowess, their ability to project power and influence far beyond their homeland. They were the ones who challenged the might of Egypt, fought the legendary Battle of Kadesh, one of the largest and most fiercely contested chariot battles in history. At the close of the Bronze Age, as empires crumbled and civilizations teetered on the brink of collapse, a new threat emerged from the sea, a threat as mysterious as it was devastating the Sea Peoples. These weren't just pirates or raiders, they were a force of destruction, their origins shrouded in mystery, their motives unclear. Imagine the terror that must have gripped the hearts of coastal dwellers as their ships appeared on the horizon, a vast armada of warships, their decks swarming with warriors hungry for plunder and bloodshed. They were a coalition of different groups, these Sea Peoples, their origins perhaps as diverse as their methods of warfare. Some scholars believed they were driven from their homelands by climate change, others by famine, still others by the lure of plunder. They swept through the Mediterranean like a tidal wave, their attacks toppling empires and plunging entire regions into chaos. The Sea Peoples, their origins lost to time, their true nature a mystery, serve as a reminder that even the most powerful empires are not immune to the forces of chaos and destruction. From the chariot-thundering battlefields of Mesopotamia to the wave-crashing shores of the Aegean, these armies and so many more left their mark on the ancient world. They were forged from bronze and blood, driven by ambition, fear, and the relentless march of progress. The echoes of their clashes resonate even today, reminding us that the past is never truly dead, it's just waiting to be unearthed, examined, and understood. But which one, in your estimation, truly deserves the title of the most vicious? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the bloodiest corners of history.